LoveLore Library. Her body stopped trembling, but the hatred in her eyes was still intense. It could not be resolved or erased. I will take away everything that she has right now. When Yes' eyes were red, she reached out her hand and pulled Qin Feier into her arms. Feier, the last time you stayed in the chief manor made your father feel threatened. This time he intends to continue the cultivation. He is just one step away from making a breakthrough to the Holy Warrior tier. Once you reach Holy Warrior tier, nobody can ruin your happiness. Enriching has obtained protection from the chief manor. So what? Gu Shi is also a Holy Warrior tier. The battle between those of Holy Warrior tier would definitely shake the world. Chapter 995. Probe IV. None of the Holy Warriors would fight for such a small enmity. Therefore, she did not believe that Gu Shi would fight just because of Enriching. Even more impossible for Hai Rong. The person that Hai Rong admired was only Sui, not Enriching. Once Qin Feier became Nan Xian's wife, Sui would not care for Enriching anymore. By then, what was there to be afraid of Hai Rong? Really? Qin Feier's eyes brightened. Will Qin Chen come back? Yes, we still need him as a drug primer. He will, and he must return to the Qin family. When Yes' hand gently brushed Qin Feier's hair, her eyes were filled with tenderness. My Feier, you have suffered so much in your life. Happiness will come soon. All the people that you love will stay by your side. Qin Feier smiled. Yes, all the people that she loved would finally stay by her side, whether it was the man that she wanted to marry, or her most beloved little brother. Mother, Chainer is just misled by someone who makes him like this. When he comes back, I don't want anybody to blame him. Okay, Mother will do as you wish. For this time being, don't you go out. That woman Enriching is so ruthless. She will likely do something to hurt you. Qin Feier did not say anything. Her eyes moved as she stared in the direction where Enriching had just left. For a moment, her eyes were filled with fury. Enriching, from now on, I will never be weak anymore. And I won't tolerate you anymore. Everything that you have taken will only stay for a while. Not for the rest of your life. Mother, I'm tired. I'll go get some rest first. Qin Feier looked weak. She needed help from a maid to help her up. But her pace was unusually firm. Step by step, she walked to the backyard. Warm and fine spring. Spring breeze caressed the face. The young woman on the street stopped walking. She turned her head a little and later completely turned to face Qin Chen, who was standing next to her. Her voice was deep. Chainer, I have something to ask you. Qin Chen stared blankly. Yes. What is a drug primer? The young woman's smile dimmed as she asked solemnly. Qin Yu's heart skipped a beat. He pursed his lips without saying a word. Uncle, little Qin Han grinned. I heard Brother Fu Qin say a word before. Leniency to those who have confessed and severity to those who refused. You better be honest with Mother. Otherwise, Mother will spank you. Qin Chen's face turned red. He glanced at Qin Han and turned back to Enriching. Me for extra chapters. Qin, I was not injured and I did not suffer, so, those things have passed. Qin, can you stop asking about it? He did not want Enriching to know that he was using blood as a drug primer. And he did not want to make her feel sad. Chainer, Enriching smiled helplessly. It's okay if you refuse to talk about it, I won't force you. No matter what your purpose of living with the Qin family was, I will never allow you to risk your life. From now on, you must stay next to me and you're not allowed to go anywhere. Qin Chen smiled brightly. Fine, I'll listen to you. In his lifetime, he could go against everyone's words. Except for hers. He should have stayed in the Qin family for a longer period because the task he had to do was not done yet. But one word from Feng Ruqing had made him follow her without any second thought. So many people in the Qin family targeted her. If he did not stand by her and leave with her, it would inevitably make her feel ashamed. So, he finally made his decision. His Qing immensely cared about her reputation. How could he embarrass her? Chapter 996, The Old Master has recovered the Mu family's clan hall. Everyone gathered there. Their eyes were burning with anger and their faces livid with rage. Young master, do we have to let that woman act so wantonly in the Mu family? She has acted recklessly in the Mu family and now she has also abducted the Qin family's young master. She is young master Nan Xian's woman anyway. What would Nan Xian say about it? Young master, we need to deal with this matter. Otherwise, this Mu family is not the Mu family anymore. Mu Ling kept his face straight. He looked unhappy. Even before being demoted, I couldn't do anything about it. Now that I have been demoted, what do you want me to do? Nan Xian never listens to me and he fights with me. There was no father who was more miserable than him. He could not even stand up to his own son. And these people were still forcing him to the corner like this. What could he do? He wanted the Mu family to be as it was before too. But asking him to find Nan Xian, was it not sending him off to be beaten? Where's the old master? Did he just let them fool around like this? Mu Yan was annoyed. If this situation continues, the Mu family's reputation will be sullied by these people. Young master, I have told you before, do not let young lady return. Having Lady Qing Yan here is already enough for the Mu family, there is no need to. Enough. Bang! Mu Ling suddenly slammed his fist causing one of the walls next to him to collapse. This made everyone stop talking at once. His face was livid and his voice sounded fierce. This matter has nothing to do with Sui. You don't have to drag her. After all, I owe her a favor. The people in the clan hall were all surprised. They had mentioned these things before, but they had never seen the young master get so angry. Today, to defend Sui, the young master had gotten so furious. Mu Ying's eyes sank. Had the young master ever thought about it? He protected the young lady like this, then where in his life did he place Lady Qingyan? The young lady had only encroached the position. All these years, it was Lady Qingyan who had worked for the Mu family. If it was not because of the spirit herbs given by Lady Qingyan, his grandson would not have been able to break through this realm. As for Chen Qingyan, Mu Ling's heart was full of gratitude. Young master, fine. Mu Ling's frown gradually faded. His hands were tightly crossed. Say no more. If Feng Ruqing and Nan Xian continue making trouble in the Mu family, just let them go first. Be sure not to raise any conflict. Me for extra chapters. Because, the corners of his lips lifted into a bitter smile. They came here for revenge. The more you raise a conflict with them, the more intense they will get. I can't beat Nan Xian and there is no other way we can do it. This was Mu Ling's first admission that he was not Nan Xian's rival. He had always thought that Nan Xian's skill was much higher than ordinary people's, but it had never occurred to him that Nan Xian would be so keen to that extent. Nan Xian had unexpectedly exceeded his power. With Nan Xian in this Mu family, what else could he do? Even when Qing Yan was wronged, he was not capable of avenging her. Furthermore, the old master is recovering. It's a good thing for the Mu family. It looks as if it will not take a long time for him to recover. The old master recovering is an excellent thing for the Mu family. But it'll make Qing Yan suffer. Mu Ling's eyes were suddenly filled with determination like a boundless night sky. As for Qing Yan, I won't give up on her. It doesn't matter if my father agrees or not. Qing Yan must stay in the Mu family. I won't let her go just because of this. I know you all love Qing Yan. So do I. Chapter 997. The old master has recovered. Mu Ling glanced at everyone who was present. He turned and walked away. His steps did not falter. The Southern Ocean. A youth dressed in black stood in the enormous waves. His face was handsome and seemed young. But in these monstrous waves, he looked like a king who aggressively looked down to the spirit beasts in the waves. I have asked you to look for an island, why haven't you found it yet? If he kept waiting, his little nine would run away with a wild man. He had missed her once. He did not want to miss her again. The many fish beasts did not even dare to lift their heads. They waited timidly for the reprimand from the youth in black. I'll give you 3 more days, and if you can't find a way, I will stew all of you and give to 9. The fish beasts panicked. They broke up in a din and hurriedly swam away in all directions. The youth dressed in a full black robe stood in the waves. His whole being gave off a mysterious aura. The white phoenix, with an unknown stole roast chicken, was sitting nearby. His whole mouth was covered in oil. He wiped his mouth with his wings and looked at the youth in black disdainfully. Are these spirit beasts reliable? It's been so long, why haven't you found it yet? The youth in black snorted softly. You only know how to eat. You don't even recognize the road. What rights do you have to teach me? I have advised you not to be too worried about it. Come, let's eat the chicken first. The white phoenix said with a smile. He did not feel angry at all. The youth in black glanced scornfully at the roasted chicken in the white phoenix's hand. Am not a spirit beast. I am a confluence of heaven and earth. Unlike you, I don't need to eat. The white phoenix seemed to be not listening to the youth in black. He picked up another roast chicken and threw it to him. An hour later. Under the enormous sky, the waves were raging. There was a white phoenix with a youth. Both of them grabbed a savory roasted chicken in their hands. Disregarding the circumstances they were in now, their eyes were only fixed on the delicious food in front of them. Time flowed like a stream. Since enriching had appeared in the Mu family, the Mu family was never calm again. Me for extra chapters. Other than Chen Qingjian's injury, soon after, Mu Ling started to get poisonous sores on his mouth too. He had used many spirit herbs to cure the sores, but only with a few moments of calm before he made the breakthrough. Arguably, a breakthrough was a good thing. Although he failed to regain his previous strength, the prior training experience was still there. It would not take a long time to reach the bottleneck. However, just as Mu Ling was making a breakthrough, a sudden flash of lightning fell from the sky struck him, interrupting his breakthrough. The lightning was very ferocious. After being hit, he was very shocked and immediately lost consciousness. Fortunately, the Mu family members rushed over and assisted him into the room. After over half a month of self-cultivation, he was able to survive. It was said that the latrine was blown up by enriching and Nan Xian, but as for the lightning, it was impossible for them to do it. After all, no one in this world had such strength. Even if he wanted to shift the blame onto these two people, the ordinary people were not a fool. It was impossible to believe him. So, the gossip was not only going around in the Mu family but the entire Tianshan manor that Mu Ling was struck by lightning certainly because heaven was punishing him. Otherwise, why did the lightning not strike someone else but him? During the chaos in the Mu family, a sudden roar was heard in the old master's courtyard. Chapter 998. The old master has recovered. 3. It seemed like there was a white light extending toward the sky. It rushed into the clouds up till it faded away. Mu Ling was still lying on the bed, cultivating. After seeing the light, he quickly got up from the bed. His face filled with excitement. Holy warrior, has my father's strength been recovered? The number of holy warriors in this temple was not significant. There were only Gu Shi and Hai Rong. Therefore, when the old Master Mu had recovered, he became the third holy warrior. In the future, no one will look down upon the Mu family again. Hurry up, inform others. Everyone, go to the clan's hall. Mu Ling was surging. Even though Nan Xian's strength was great, Mu Ling understood that Nan Xian was not attached to the Mu family. He could no longer count on Nan Xian to work for the Mu family. Father was also a holy warrior before, but his mind was fuddled and his strength was getting nowhere. The Mu family was placed in a difficult predicament after he was demoted. Fortunately, my father has recovered. The Mu family's situation will gradually improve. Oh, by the way, let Sierra and Huaner come here too. When they were born, father was in his declining years, he hadn't seen them well. Now, father is awake. For the sake of these two children, he will not embarrass Qin Yan anymore. At that time, father's mind was always in a mess. He was stuck in old memories, so he was so cruel to Qin Yan. Now that he has recovered, perhaps he would accept Qin Yan again for the sake of the children. Next to the manure pit, Qin Yan pinched her nose and gently took out the disgusting feces. Suddenly, the white light from nearby changed her expression. She looked pale and her breathing grew shallow. The old master has recovered. How did he recover so fast? If the old master had recovered, how should she handle this situation? Qin Yan clenched her fists hard. Her eyes were filled with coldness. That damn old master, why aren't you dead? It seemed that she was too slow to take action before. If the spectral flowers had bloomed earlier, maybe the old master would have been already dead. Lady Qin. A maid hurriedly came up to her. After hearing this, Qin Qinjian's expression grew even more unpleasant. But she did not dare to say anything. She could only stare at the maid in front of her with her cold eyes. Me for extra chapters. What's the matter? Young master said that you need to go to the clan's hall too. The maid's words made Qin Yan look even more unpleasant. She dropped the night soil tools in her hand. Okay, I'll change my clothes, wash, get dressed, then I'll go. In every step that Qin Yan took, the pain would come through the wound on her back. She did not know why Feng Ruqing had not come to abuse her these days, but her wounds still could not heal. And she needed to remove the night soil with this injury. In these years, she had never suffered from such grievances. She had followed her mother to the Mu family back then and had received favored treatment. The old master had taken good care of them. Later, her mother had made a mistake and was killed by the old master. She was kicked out of the Mu family. Mu Ling would visit her every few days and he had even sent a maid to take care of her. She once was always respected and led a pampered life. When had she ever suffered like this? Qin Qinjian's heart hurt, and what made it even more awful was Mu Ling's attitude. The clan hall. Everybody whispered and gazed at each other helplessly. The old master had recovered, it was naturally rejoicing to them. But once the old master regained his authority in the Mu family, they would no longer have a right to speak anymore. Chapter 999. The old master has recovered. Everyone was a little anxious and uneasy. The old master, with his decent pace, walked in from the door. He looked severe with his cold eyes. His dignity shall be inviolable. Although Qin Yan went to wash up, she came to the clan's hall earlier than the old master. Now, after seeing the old master with a stern face, her heart suddenly trembled. She lightly pursed up her lips and looked on with pity in her eyes. Mu Ling felt sorry for her. He embraced Chen Qingyan in his arms as if telling her that no matter what happened, he would not abandon her. "Father, you have just recovered, walk slowly." A gentle and soft voice came from behind the old master. Chen Qingyan's heart was firmly pinched by a hand. She raised her eyes and looked at that person, and saw that Suyi was following behind the old master. That should have been her place. Suyi and Mu Qingyin slowly walked side by side into the clan hall. Nan Xian held Feng Ruking's waist and walked along with them. This scene stabbed Chen Qingyan's heart deeply. She clenched her fists firmly and her face was twisted in anger. Suyi had snatched her place, while Feng Ruqing and Nan Xian had taken Sierra and Huaner's position. They should be the real family. Is everyone here? The old master's eyes seemed cold. He glanced at all the people present and with a sharp tone he said, "Since everyone is here, I will say something frank right now. I have been sick for a few years and my brain was muddled. But it does not mean that I am a fool. I know everything." "Master," an uncle from the Mu family said weakly, "are you misunderstanding something? We didn't do anything." The old master Mu sneered. "Mu Fan, you look at what Chen Qingyan has done, is that still insufficient? I don't know much about the Mu family's affairs, but in managing and taking care of the Mu family, he is synonymous in my eyes. What makes you think you can deceive me?" The crowd was silent. Everyone knew that after the old master recovered, he would pick up his power and the first target would be them. "Father, me for extra chapters." Mu Ling wanted to stand for Chen Qingyan and explain a few words, but when he had hardly started talking, the old master Mu glanced at him coldly. "Shut up. Who is your father? You didn't appreciate a good woman like Sui and you want a woman like Chen Qingyan badly. How dare you call me father? I don't have a son like you." The old master Mu was roaring with anger and his eyes looked so furious. Chen Qingyan was silent. She bit her lower lip hard as tears swirled in her eyes and she stubbornly did not let the tears drop. "Grandfather." Mu Huan could not bear seeing his mother with a heartbroken look. He stood up and defended her. "You are too unfair to my mother. You can ask these people here. My mother has worked hard for the Mu family in these past few years. She has suffered and sweated for you. But in the end, you only give all the credits to Sui. Both of them are your daughters-in-law, how can you be so biased to this extent?" Old Master Mu looked at Mu Huan coldly. "It seems that the people of the Mu family have always addressed Chen Qingyan as Lady Qingyan and treated you like a legitimate son and daughter so much so that you have forgotten your own identities. She is just a concubine, her rank only a little higher than the servants. Since when has a concubine become my daughter-in-law? Since when have the son and the daughter of a concubine been placed in the limelight?" Initially, Mu Ling had thought that when his father recovered, he would be gentle with Mu Huan and Mu Shi, but he did not expect him to still be the same as before. Chapter 1000. The old master has recovered. Chen Qingyan had always been a vicious lady in the old master's heart. Was it all because Chen Qingyan had a vicious mother? Her mother did make a mistake, but her daughter, Chen Qingyan, was innocent. She had gone through so many struggles. Why did the old master still not forgive her? "Old master, young lady Mu Huan is right. When Manor Lady Sui was still in the Mu family, the people of the Mu family were full of grievances. However, things have changed when Lady Qingyan is here. Old master, you can't strip Lady Qingyan of all the credits just because of the mistake that her mother made," Mu Ing said after remaining silent for a while. "Old master, we know that you like Manor Lady Sui, but Lady Qingyan is so kind and generous. She has sacrificed a lot for the Mu family. We must not be ungrateful." "That's right. Old master, no matter what Lady Qingyan's mother did, it has nothing to do with Lady Qingyan. She is a great lady. She is innocent. Seeing many people standing up for Chen Qingyan, Mu Huan stood straighter as she stared disdainfully at Suyi's face. How could a lady stay in the Mu family when she can't even win the hearts of the people in the Mu family? Don't you know why Suyi does not grow the people within the Mu family? Are you not aware of the talent of your own descendants? Suyi did tell me before that she wanted to get some disciples from the other clans out there, and I have agreed to it. I did not manage to do this previously, but Suyi has made it. The old master sneered. In the reclusive world, it was truly rare for a clan to accept disciples from other clans. As all the clans had their own secrets, they would only grow the talents within the clan. However, the spirit herbs would completely run out one day. Without spirit herbs and talent, a clan would surely collapse. The old master knew this very well. Hence, he did not stop Suyi from taking disciples from outside. All the disciples that Suyi brought back to the Mu family were profoundly gifted. Although they did not carry the Mu family's bloodline, as they were highly talented. That was enough. People of the same family bloodline might not necessarily be loyal. At the same time, people of different family bloodlines might not necessarily be treacherous. When Suyi left the Mu family back then, all of you didn't even care about Suyi's painstaking effort and had banished all the disciples that Suyi had taken from all over the world just because they do not carry the Mu family's bloodline. The old butler had always been by my side. He knew how important those disciples were to the Mu family. Hence, he has adopted these disciples. It is a pity that Chen Qingyan was taking full control of the spirit herb chamber. Hence, the old butler did not manage to get any spirit herb to enhance these disciples' strength. The youngest among them was only 20 years old. Even so, he has attained Dark Warrior tier not long ago. The old master only found out about all these after he had regained his senses. In the entire Mu family, Mu Qingyin and the old butler were the only two people who knew everything in the Mu family well. The old butler had been working with the old master for years. Naturally, he knew the old master very well. Hence, he had found a place and adopted those banished disciples. Me for extra chapters. When Suyi brought these disciples back to the Mu family, they were still kids. Hence, all of them were still very young now. Although they did not have spirit herbs to enhance their strength, some of them had actually surpassed the descendants of the Mu family who took spirit herbs to boost their strength. Those kids are not Mu family's descendants. What if they sell the Mu family out? Mu Ying's face stiffened. A few years ago, Gu Shi found out that we were adopting these disciples. He wanted to poach them. However, he did not make it because these kids felt extremely grateful towards Suyi and did not want to leave. The old master sneered. All the kids that Suyi had brought back to the Mu family were of poor origins. It was Suyi who had given them a new life. Hence, they would never leave and betray her. Betrayal would always be treacherous regardless of bloodline. Those who were loyal would never betray. Chapter 1001, The Old Master has recovered. Suyi's eyes moved slightly as she heaved a sigh of relief. It turned out that the kids were still safe and sound. Back then, Suyi left the Mu family without the slightest hesitation. Her strength was not as strong as it was now. It was extremely hard for her to raise Nan Xian. Hence, she was not capable of raising all the kids that she had brought back to the Mu family. Moreover, she did not want the kids to suffer hardship together with her. As her strength had not been recovering all these years, she could not come back to the Mu family to take the kids away with her. Hence, she had not met the kids for years. Old Master, no matter what, these kids are not part of the Mu family. They should not use the Mu family's resources. We should keep the goodies within the family. If these kids were still in the Mu family, they would use up all the spirit herbs. We would run out of spirit herbs. What about the Mu family's future? Mu Ying hesitated for a moment before he continued talking. Old butler. The old master sneered. As soon as the old master finished talking, the old butler walked into the clan's hall with an elder behind him. Everyone could recognize the elder at a glance. It was Zhang Lao who guarded the spirit herb chamber. Simply no one knew why the old master had summoned Zhang Lao here. Seeing Zhang Lao, Chen Qingjian's face turned pale. A resurgence of panic crept into her eyes. Zhang Lao, besides my birthday gift, how many spirit herbs do we have left in the Mu family? There are 10 pieces of grade 6 spirit herbs, 50 pieces of grade 5 spirit herbs, 110 pieces of grade 4 spirit herbs, 180 pieces of grade 3 spirit herbs, 250 pieces of grade 2 spirit herbs, and lastly, 500 pieces of grade 1 spirit herbs. Zhang Lao cupped his fists respectfully. Currently, the amount of spirit herbs that the Mu family possessed was considered high in the secular world, where spirit herbs were extremely rare, as spirit herb mountains were dominated by the reclusive world. Even a piece of grade 3 spirit herb was priceless. However, the Mu family was part of the reclusive world. Besides grade 6 spirit herbs, the amount of the rest of the spirit herbs was even smaller than those that the Tang family owned back then. Moreover, the Mu family was the leading clan out of the 4 main forces in Tianshan Manor. Hearing Zhang Lao, the entire clan's hall fell into a dead silence. Everyone present held their breath and did not say a single word. Mu Ling's face took on a ghastly expression. He did go to the spirit herb chamber some time ago to get Zhang Lao to take some spirit herbs for him. However, Mu Ling did not ask Zhang Lao anything about the spirit herb chamber. Me for extra chapters. It was only dozens of years, but the number of spirit herbs had greatly dropped. With the amount of spirit herb that the Mu family owned now, it was no match for a small prestigious family in Tianshan Manor. Zhang Lao, tell us the spirit herb we have when Suyi was still in the Mu family. The old master smirked. All right. Before the manor lady left the Mu family, we had 10 pieces of grade 7 spirit herbs, 50 pieces of grade 6 spirit herbs, 500 pieces of grade 5 spirit herbs, 1,030 pieces of grade 4 spirit herbs, 3,000 pieces of grade 3 spirit herbs, 5,000 pieces of grade 2 spirit herbs, and 8,000 pieces of grade 1 spirit herbs. Each year, the spirit herb mountains contribute 2,000 pieces of spirit herbs. After deducting the spirit herb being consumed daily, there would still be 200 pieces of spirit herbs left. Moreover, whenever the manor lady went out to temper herself, she would collect some spirit herbs and put them into the spirit herb chamber, Zhang Lao replied. Hence, when the manor lady was still in the Mu family, the number of spirit herbs in the spirit herb chamber would increase every year, Zhang Lao said resolutely. His face was indifferent. Spirit herbs had always been a clan's last resort. People of the clan would only consume them during critical times. Back then, Chen Qingyan had always been taking out the spirit herbs as she wished. Zhang Lao told Mu Ling before that if Chen Qingyan continued doing this, the Mu family would run out of spirit herbs. However, not only did Mu Ling pay no heed to Zhang Lao's words, he had allowed Chen Qingyan to take charge of the spirit herb chamber. It is true that the old master receives a lot of spirit herbs on his birthday every year, but Aunt Qingyan has taken them away. Chapter 1002, The Old Master Has Recovered 7. Zhang Lao continued after keeping silent for a while. No way. That's impossible. These are the only spirit herbs left in the Mu family. Aren't the spirit herb mountains providing spirit herbs to the Mu family every year? Where are those spirit herbs now? Mu Ying's body was trembling, his eyes were filled with panic. Aunt Qingyan has taken them away. Ever since she has stepped into the Mu family, she has always been fawning over everyone in the Mu family by giving them spirit herbs. She has even given spirit herbs to the humble servants. It was only natural that everyone in the Mu family likes her. If she was using her own spirit herbs, would agree that she is a great person. However, she was using the Mu family's spirit herbs to do this. Zhang Lao straightened up. Zhang Lao's words had hit the nail on the head. Chen Qingyan was merely a concubine in the Mu family. If she had given away her own spirit herbs to the people in the Mu family to keep in with them, there was no doubt that everyone would think that Chen Qingyan was kind. However, she was actually using the Mu family's spirit herbs instead. Everyone present fell silent and stopped talking. Their faces darkened. Manor Lady did give some spirit herbs to the disciples that she had brought back to the Mu family. However, all the spirit herbs that she had taken were those that she had brought back to the Mu family herself, and I have jotted all of them down. Manor Lady had never touched anything that belonged to the Mu family. Zhang Lao had always been taking care of the spirit herb chamber. He had even treated the spirit herbs like his own children. Seeing the amount of the spirit herbs dropping day by day, his heart was broken, but he had nowhere to vent his grievance. Now was such a great chance to pour it all out. Hence, he must tell everyone the things that Chen Qingyan had done and how she had put the Mu family into trouble. By the way, what about the grade 7 spirit herbs? Zhang Lao, where are the grade 7 spirit herbs? Has the Mu family run out of grade 7 spirit herbs? Suddenly, Muing shouted. He had finally come back to his senses. You may want to ask Aunt Qingyan. She has taken them away. Zhang Lao snorted. Zhang Lao's remark sounded like thunder in a clear sky, hitting everyone present like a ton of bricks. Zhang Lao, don't you know how important the grade 7 spirit herbs to the Mu family? How could you simply let someone take it away without informing any one of us, me, for extra chapters? I did inform Manor Master about this. Manor Master said that he has left all these matters to Aunt Qingyan. I am nobody but an old coot who looks after the spirit herb chamber. I couldn't do anything to her. Naturally, I wanted to stop people from taking the spirit herbs away, but who am I to do that? Zhang Lao's face was nonchalant. Hearing this, Mu Ling had a dazed look on his face. Zhang Lao was right. He had looked for Mu Ling back then, and he did mention something about some grade 7 spirit herbs. However, Mu Ling did not show much concern, as a piece of grade 7 spirit herb was not a big deal and he could afford to give it to Chen Qingyan. Hence, he had rebuked Zhang Lao. He told Zhang Lao to stop disturbing him and let Chen Qingyan handle all these things on her own. Little did Mu Ling know, Chen Qingyan had actually taken all grade 7 spirit herbs, the most precious things in the Mu family. Qingyan, where are the spirit herbs? Mu Ling turned to look at Chen Qingyan as his face darkened. Although Mu Ling loved and trusted Chen Qingyan, the Mu family was still the most important thing to him. Mu Ling had only managed to attain Immortal Warrior tier after consuming the grade 7 spirit herb back then. Originally, he had planned to consume the grade 7 spirit herb once he had attained Intermediate Immortal Warrior tier so he could restore the strength he once had. Now that all the grade 7 spirit herbs were gone with not even one piece left, he could not help feeling upset. This time, Chen Qingyan really panicked. Her face was drained out of color, her eyes were flooded with tears. I have exchanged the grade 7 spirit herbs with the Thousand Vines orchid. Brother Ling, I didn't mean to do this. I was deceived into doing this as someone has told me that the Thousand Vines orchid could improve the old master's health. I did this for the old master. Chapter 1003, The Old Master Has Recovered. 8 No way. Chen Qingyan would never let Mu Ling know where the grade 7 spirit herbs were. Mu Ling closed his eyes in grievous pain. His hands were quivering with rage. No. Father, Mother said that she has done this for grandfather. Mu Huan could no longer hold back. So, she stood up for Yin. Mu Huan, you shut up. Hearing this, Mu Ling opened his eyes and snarled. Mu Huan held her breath. This was not the first time Mu Ling had exploded with anger. They are just a few pieces of spirit herbs, why is he so mad? Yin, do you know how important the grade 7 spirit herbs are to the Mu family? 10 pieces of grade 7 spirit herbs means there will be 10 holy warriors in 10 generations of the Mu family. One can start consuming grade 7 spirit herb once he has attained intermediate immortal warrior tier. After eating the grade 7 spirit herb, he could make a breakthrough to advance immortal warrior tier and the chances of attaining holy warrior tier increase. Do you get me? After attaining holy warrior tier, one could live up to 200 to 300 years. What happened next? Only a rare talent like Nan Xian could continue making a breakthrough. Even a highly talented cultivator could hardly make it. In other words, after 200 to 300 years, the fall of the holy warrior in this generation, the chances of having another holy warrior were truly scarce. As time went by, the Mu family would go downhill. Chen Yin did not utter a word. Her face was ghastly pale. Seeing this, a furious rage swept over Mu Ling. Ever since Chen Yin had stepped into the Mu family, Mu Ling had always been defending and taking care of her. He had never been so indignant toward her like now. The grade 7 spirit herbs were so important to the Mu family after all. They were so precious that even Mu Ling's heart was quivering now. The people of the Mu family were no longer defending Chen Yin like they were doing before. On the contrary, all of them were glaring at Chen Yin. Regardless of her intention, Chen Yin had exhausted all the grade 7 spirit herbs in a mere 10 years. She was such an unforgivable sinner to the Mu family. Father, me for extra chapters. Didn't you hear what I said? Shut up. You have no idea of what is going on, you know nothing about this. You have been cultivating with Grandmaster Hai Rong for years, but you are still a good for nothing. Mu Ling's bloodshot eyes glared at Mu Huan. Ha! My father calls me a good for nothing. Stunned, a look of disbelief and shock crept into Mu Huan's eyes. Her body was icy cold. She could feel the blood in her entire body flowing backward. Mu Huan closed her eyes and opened them after a while. Her cold gaze locked upon Feng Ruqing and Nan Xian. Her eyes were filled with resentment. It is all because of these people. Ever since their return, the Mu family has sunken into a mess. They have even made my parents quarrel. It's all their fault. Chen Yin. Mu Ling clenched his fists tightly, his eyes filled with agony. I trusted you and have entrusted the spirit herb chamber to you. I thought you would only take one piece of grade 7 spirit herb that I could afford to give it to you. However, you have actually taken all of them. Did you hear me? All the grade 7 spirit herbs are gone. At this time, panic started to engulf Chen Yin. Mu Ling was the one she could count on more than anyone else. She was nothing without Mu Ling, brother Ling. Chen Yin held on to Mu Ling's shaking fists as she said in a choking voice. Tears broke free from her eyes. I did this with good intention. I have never thought that it would turn out like this. Can you forgive me? I will do anything you want me to. I don't want to lose you. I can't live without you. Chen Qinjian's voice was cracking, tears of anguish sprang from her eyes. Mu Ling closed his eyes gently. He had once said that he would forgive Chen Yin no matter what she did or said. Chapter 1004. The old master has recovered. Hence, Mu Ling had forgiven Chen Yin even if she had harmed the old master. He knew that Chen Yin was not a tough lady. She could not live without him. However, Mu Ling did not know if he could forgive Chen Yin this time. Seeing Mu Ling sinking into silence, Chen Qingyan got the message. She smiled wryly and let go of Mu Ling's hands. Brother Ling, I get you. Previously, I wanted to offer up my life as penance, but you have stopped me. This time, please don't stop me again. Whoosh. With a flick of a sleeve, a dagger appeared in Chen Qingyan's hand as she stabbed her own belly forcefully. Well, it was a dagger and not a long sword. The dagger was thrust toward Chen Qingyan's belly and not her heart. In a split second, the dagger dug into Chen Qingyan's skin. Blood could be seen spurting out of her belly. Chen Qingyan stumbled backward, her face was sickly pale. Seeing this, Mu Huan and Mu Zai's faces darkened as they stumbled backward. They did not manage to stop Chen Qingyan in time. Hence, they could only stare at Chen Qingyan. Qingyan. Mu Ling opened his eyes only to see Chen Qingyan was falling backward. Bursting with rage, he quickly rushed over and held her before she fell to the ground. Qingyan, what are you doing? Are you a fool? Why did you do this? Mu Ling stretched his quivering hand to stroke Qingyan's face. Overwhelmed with distress, Mu Ling did not notice that Chen Qingyan had only hurt her belly. Qingyan, don't scare me. Why are you doing such a foolish thing? I am not angry anymore. I am not angry at you anymore, Mu Ling whimpered, his eyes were filled with panic. Mu Ling was petrified. He was so afraid that once Qingyan fell down, she would never rise again. Back off. Mu Huan quickly rushed over and pushed Mu Ling away. Her face was covered with tears as she glared at Mu Ling. Father, you have forced my mother to want to die. Are you happy now? I want to save her. All of you get out of here. Mu Ling had nearly fallen down after being pushed by Mu Huan, but he was not the slightest indignant. He stared blankly at Chen Qingyan, who was lying in a pool of blood. Seeing how Mu Ling cared for Chen Qingyan, Feng Ruking's heart had nearly softened. She left Nan Xian's arms and walked up to Chen Qingyan. If one looked attentively at Chen Qingyan, it was not hard to notice that there was a hint of a smile at the corner of her lips. In fact, Chen Qingyan was taking a flyer on Mu Ling's love for her. Apparently, she had one. What are you doing? Seeing Feng Ruqing coming her way, Mu Huan was blazing with anger as she snarled. Me for extra chapters. Save her. As soon as Feng Ruqing was done speaking, she took a fruit out of the medium and put it into Chen Qingyan's mouth. Feng Ruking's movement was way too fast that Mu Huan did not manage to stop her. At this time, Mu Ling regained his consciousness. Seeing Feng Ruqing feeding Chen Qingyan something that simply no one knew what it was, he was engulfed with rage. Just as Mu Ling wanted to rush up to Feng Ruqing, Nan Xian rushed over and stood before Feng Ruqing. Nan Xian's chilly gaze swept over Mu Ling. Mu Ling's hands could not help but quiver in fear. However, his worry toward Chen Qingyan had overtaken his fear. Stay away. Don't touch her. Mu Ling had pushed Qingyan into the corner. If he could not protect Chen Qingyan this time, he should not be called a man. As soon as the fruit got into Chen Qingyan's body, she looked much better and the blood stopped oozing from the wound. Chapter 1005. The old master has recovered. Chen Qingyan's eyes widened in bewilderment and then it was overtaken by resentment. I am still alive. Why didn't you let me die? I have made so many mistakes. I must offer up my life as a penance. Why are you saving me? Qingyan. Mu Ling was overjoyed. Just as he wanted to rush up to Chen Qingyan, Feng Ruqing shot Mu Ling a glance. Nan Xian, stop him. As soon as Feng Ruqing finished her words, a young master in a white robe stood before Mu Ling, stopping him from moving further. Currently, the old master and everyone present were taking Feng Ruqing's side. The people of the Mu family were burning with rage as Chen Qingyan had used up too much spirit herbs from the Mu family. They were no longer defending Chen Qingyan. They did not even care if she died. The relationship between these people and Chen Qingyan was built on spirit herbs. Without spirit herbs, Chen Qingyan was nothing. Naturally, no one would spare her a glance now. Bang! Feng Ruqing took out a long sword and threw it on the ground, right before Chen Qingyan. If you truly want to offer up your life to prove your innocence, I could give you a hand. However, I must remind you that since you have decided to take your own life, please thrust this sword right in your heart. The stab just now was too light and has only hurt your skin. You have even avoided all the organs just now. Since you want to die, stab it right in your heart. No one can save you by then. Chen Qingyan's face stiffened. She lowered her eyes to look at the long sword. Then, she raised her head only to see Feng Ruqing with a spurious smile on her face. She could feel a chill from her feet all the way up into her heart. Feng Ruqing. Mu Huan exploded with rage. Mu Huan's voice annoyed Feng Ruqing. She kicked Mu Huan and sent her falling into the crowd. A few people quickly rushed over and held on to Mu Huan's body, so she could not move the slightest. Originally, Mu Shi had wanted to move forward. Seeing this, he stood still and dared not move. Currently, Chen Qingyan was the only one who had confronted Feng Ruqing in the clan's hall. You may start now. Since you are highly principled, you know that you have made a mistake and wanted to die to clear your name. I am truly impressed. Hence, I am giving you a chance to do this. Come on, take this sword and stab it right here. You will soon be in Elysium. Feng Ruqing looked down at Chen Qingyan. Feng Ruqing forcefully took Chen Qingyan's hand to hold on to the sword and made a gesture toward Chen Qingyan's heart. Are you a demon? Can't you see that Chen Qingyan is so frightened and has nearly turned into a stone? The people of the Mu family were dumbfounded. However, seeing Chen Qingyan's reaction, the people of the Mu family could not help laughing at themselves. Perhaps, Chen Qingyan had shown her true colors. Everything that she did was nothing but a lie. Me for extra chapters. Nan Xian, stay away. Mu Ling snarled. Currently, Chen Qingyan's safety was the only thing in his mind. If you dare to move a little, I will kill both of you, Nan Xian said blandly. His face was nonchalant. Nan Xian's words carried great weight. Mu Ling quickly calmed down and did not utter a word. He knew that Nan Xian always kept his words. If he continued, Nan Xian would surely kill him and Chen Qingyan. Perhaps, he would even lay a hand on Mu Huan and Mu Shi. Qingyan, stay calm or you may lose your life. Mu Ling could not help but stare at Chen Qingyan anxiously. His hands were covered with cold sweat. Sure enough, Chen Qingyan did not stab the sword in her heart. Was it proof that she was acting just now? Chapter 1006, Gu Shi's trick. Mu Ling was staring at Chen Qingyan with mixed feelings in his heart. He did not look away even for a second. Currently, no one felt worse than Mu Ling himself. Your hands are quivering. I thought you want to offer up your life to clear your name. What are you doing now? You don't want to die. Well, if you really want to die, I can give you a hand. Hold this sword properly and I will stab you. You don't need to thank me for this. Feng Ruqing glanced at Chen Qingyan's trembling hands. Feng Ruqing's hand moved slightly. Before the sword reached Chen Qingyan's heart, a loud scream sounded. In a split second, Chen Qingyan loosened the sword in her grip and took a few steps backward. No! Chen Qingyan did not want to die. If she died, she would lose everything she had. The sword fell to the ground from Chen Qingyan's hand. Beads of cold sweats could be seen covering her forehead. Her eyes were filled with panic, her face was drained of any color. Seeing Chen Qingjian's flustered appearance, Mu Ling was no longer worried. It turned out that Chen Qingyan was afraid of death. Chen Qingyan had played the same trick twice, offering up her life to prove her innocence, and Mu Ling had actually bought into it and forgiven all her wrongdoings. Since Chen Qingyan was so afraid of death, she would never have taken her life to clear her name. Ridiculously, Mu Ling had always trusted her with all his heart. Brother Ling, Chen Qingyan looked at Mu Ling anxiously. Her eyes met Mu Ling's eyes that were filled with despair. Twice, Chen Qingyan had nearly put the entire Mu family into huge troubles. However, Mu Ling had forgiven her over and over again. Apparently, Chen Qingyan had a special place in Mu Ling's heart. It was all because Mu Ling had a soft heart. He could not bear seeing Chen Qingyan dead. Hence, he had forgiven her. Brother Ling, listen to me. Whoosh. Just as Chen Qingyan wanted to approach Mu Ling, the sword in Feng Ruking's hand dug into Chen Qingjian's belly. Before the wound on her belly was fully recovered, the sword stabbed her again. Quivering in pain, Chen Qingyan raised her head to stare at Feng Ruqing. A look of shock and disbelief crept into Chen Qingjian's eyes. Feng Ruqing had actually stabbed Chen Qingyan before everyone's eyes. I healed your wound just now. Now that I have stabbed you, we are even. Since your daughter wants to save you, I will not get myself involved. Feng Ruqing grinned. Since I am capable of healing your wound, I could make the wound back to how it was before. Moreover, Feng Ruqing had purposely stabbed her at the same wound. The pain had actually hurt more than when Chen Qingyan stabbed herself. Me for extra chapters. Blood spurted out of the wound in her belly. When Feng Ruqing drew out the sword, Chen Qingyan held her belly and fell to the ground. Mother! Mu Huan's eyes reddened. As no one was stopping her, she shouted at the top of her voice. On the contrary, Mu Shi stared coldly at Feng Ruqing. Seeing his mother falling to the ground, he did not have a big reaction. He merely walked up to her with his face darkened. Feng Ru Qing. You must pay for the things that you have done. Mu Huan's eyes locked on Feng Ruqing. Feng Ruqing shrugged casually and turned to look at the people of the Mu family with a smile on her face. Did she say that she wanted to offer her life to prove her innocence? Startled, the people of the Mu family looked at Feng Ruqing's grinning face. Currently, Feng Ruqing looked like the demon waving at them. The people of the Mu family were a little afraid of Feng Ruqing at the birthday feast. Now, they were extremely frightened and dared not to offend Feng Ruqing. You are right, just now, Lady Qingyan. It was Aunt Qingyan who wanted to offer her life to clear her name. Oh. If that is the case, have I done anything wrong? I was just helping her. She wanted to offer her life to clear her name. She was so resolute, but I have saved her. Not only did she not thank me, but she also blamed me for saving her. Hence, I am helping her now, Feng Ruqing said innocently. Sui did not turn to face Mu Ling. Her elegant face remained emotionless. Mu Ling was merely a stranger to Sui. No matter what he did, he could no longer break her heart. There is another thing we are here for today. It's something about my grandson and young Lady Feng. The old master looked around nonchalantly. Everyone on the spot burst into an uproar. Young Master Nan Xian is getting married soon. Young Lady Feng has healed my disease. She will be my granddaughter-in-law in the future. If any of you go against her, you are disrespecting me. I am old and not capable of managing the Mu family anymore. Sui and young Lady Feng will take care of the Mu family in the future. Old Master, Shouldn't it be young Master Nan Xian who helms the Mu family? Everyone present fell silent for a moment. The old master did not say a word and merely glanced at Nan Xian. Nan Xian looked calm and very much at ease like an otherworldly immortal. He could only see Feng Ruching in his eyes. Only when he looked at Feng Ruching, he had human emotions on his face. Whoever thinks he could convince Nan Xian to helm the Mu family, please go ahead. I am not capable of doing this. Chapter 1008, Gu Shi's Trick 3. The people of the Mu family seemed a little uncomfortable. The old master wants us to convince young Master Nan Xian. Will he kill all of us in a fit of anger? Old master, I will not settle down in the Mu family. Feng Ruching stroked her head. I will follow Qing'er wherever she goes. Old master, don't count on us. Suyi smiled blandly. The old master was rendered speechless. He could feel that his heart was broken. The old master had just gotten rejected. Suyi had never rejected him before. If you cannot count on Mu Ling, you still have another son. The spirit herbal dishes that I prepared for him these few days have nearly eliminated the fetus poison in his body. It cannot harm him anymore. Feng Ruching reminded the old master with a spurious smile on her face. Hearing this, the old master's eyes lit up and turned to look at Mu Qingyin. My nephew's wife is putting me into trouble. The corner of Mu Qingyi's lips slightly lifted. Mu Qingyin used to live a carefree life, unlike Mu Ling who had always been busy handling the things in the Mu family. His temper had worsened because of this. Father, that's it. If there is anything that you don't understand, go for Suyi. Case closed. The old master did not even give Mu Qingyin an option. By the way, I think Gu Yi is quite a good match for you. Since the fetus poison can be eliminated, I will go to the chief manor together with you for a marriage proposal one fine day. If you reject this, I will stop drinking and eating. The old master left Mu Qingyin with no choice. Isn't my father completely recovered? I feel that he has lost his mind. Dumbfounded, Mu Qingyin turned to look at Feng Ruching. Bang! Burning with fury, the old master took off his shoe and smacked Mu Qingyin across his face. You rascal! You are already 30. You still don't want to get married. Suyi will leave the Mu family. I don't have any daughter-in-law anymore. If you don't get me a daughter-in-law, I will starve myself to death. Feng Ruching broke into laughter. Me for extra chapters. The old master has a good eye for choosing a daughter-in-law. Just like Suyi and Gu Yi, second uncle, Gu Yi has a great personality. She is a great lady. You may want to consider this. If you truly like her, just propose to her. However, if you don't like her, go and get someone you truly love. Beaming with pride, the old man raised his chin. That's right, I have a good eye. The lady that I selected has never let me down. Rascal, Gu Yi is truly lovable. If you bring back a lady like Qin Qingyan, I will kill you. Mu Qingyi's lips slightly lifted. The old master was always fond of simple-hearted and straight-spoken ladies. Qin Qingyan was so pretentious that only Mu Ling would fall for her. In fact, there was nothing wrong with a pretentious lady. Many ladies would do that with the man that they loved. However, Qin Qingyan was a master at playing tricks. She was too sketchy. Hence, the old master did not like her. Young lady Xiao Qing, when will your parents come over? Let me send some people to bring them here. We need to discuss the wedding arrangement. The old master held on to Feng Ruching's hand, his solemn face softened and broke into a smile. Nan Xian merely frowned and took Feng Ruching's hand out of the old master's hand. The old master's face stiffened and stared bitterly at Nan Xian. Nan Xian was even jealous of his own grandfather. Siyi was so close to Feng Ruching, would he be jealous of his mother as well? Chapter 1009, Gu Shi's Trick 4. I wrote a letter to Feng Yun Manor. Siyi smiled. They will return after they have read the letter. Qing'er, just quickly settle your marriage after they came back so that Nan Xian can rest assured. Feng Ruching remained silent. Why was Nan Xian worried? Had she ever hooked up with other men? No. Qing'er was her brother. Therefore, their relationship was naturally different. Jiuming liked men, so it was impossible for the two of them to be together. There was nothing to worry about. Yes. The old man's eyes were bright. Go and discuss a suitable date for the marriage with Maiden Feng's parents. I will inform the others to participate. If Mu Qingyin can bring back his beloved woman at that time, I will be even happier. Mu Qingyin was silent. Could the old master stop bringing him up when talking about marriage? Qingyin, your nephew is getting married soon. Aren't you ashamed? Mu Qingyin hesitated for a while. I don't feel ashamed. What he said was the fact, but he did not expect the old master to throw a shoe at him out of anger just as he finished his words. Get out. Mu Qingyin pursed his lips. He felt that the old man's temper had become worse. The old master was never like that in the past. However, Mu Qingyin had never thought that when the old master was healthy, he was just a 10-year-old boy. How could the old master force him to marry? Furthermore, Siyi was still at the Mu family at that time. Therefore, the old master was not in a hurry. Now, how could he not be in a hurry? Fortunately, Nan Xian's marriage had given him a little comfort. Although Siyi was no longer the Mu family's daughter-in-law, Nan Xian was still the Mu family's grandson. There was no doubt about it. No one could change it. The old master's face lit up thinking about this. However, he was very angry and had kicked Mu Qingyin when he saw him still standing in front of him. Go out and get me a daughter-in-law, or else, don't you dare come back to see me. Mu Qingyin looked at Siyi as if he was asking for help. However, Siyi never looked at him at all. His heart suddenly turned cold. Mu Qingyin went out obediently because he was worried that the old master would continue to be angry. His brows were filled with sorrow. Was it that easy to get a wife? If he were to marry a girl that he disliked, he would rather not marry. Me for extra chapters. Of course, Mu Qingyin believed that he was an excellent judge of people. The girl he liked would be not that bad. The old master would certainly be able to accept her. But the problem was, where should he find his beloved girl? Inside the chief manor. Gu Shi saw Gu Yi filling a lot of spirit herbs into her bag. He cleared his throat and asked awkwardly, Yi, are you going to the Mu family again? Yes. I'm going to find Shao Qing. Then your spirit herb. Gu Shi hesitated. Gu Yi immediately grasped at her bag. She was vigilant. I want to give them to Shao Qing. You must not take them away. Gu Shi was speechless. Was he such a mean person? Feng Ruching had given the Gu family an herbal dish that had helped him a lot. He could still give her these spirit herbs. It was just that, I heard that Maiden Feng is getting engaged. Gu Yi stopped. Her face turned pale and she was about to cry. Shao Qing, is she getting engaged? Gu Yi was so heartbroken at that moment that she could hear the sound of her heart being torn into pieces. Her goddess, so, the woman that she loved most was not hers from now on. Ahem. Gu Shi cleared his throat. It's impossible for you and Maiden Feng to be together. Just let her go. There are so many men in the world. Why should you waste your time on her? Chapter 10:10, Gu Shi's trick. Gu Yi bit her lower lip hard. I don't like men. I like Xiao Qing. I want to follow her forever. I scolded you because of this too. You can't marry her. Maybe both of you will drift further apart after she gets married in the future. She won't even remember who you are sooner or later. Gu Yi was speechless. Gu Yi held her chest. She could feel the pain in her chest. The thought of Xiao Qing never remembering who she was when meeting her in the future made her want to cry. There was a flash of light in Gu Shi's eyes. So, you can't marry her. But you can be part of her family. Be part of her family. Gu Yi was suspicious. How can I be part of her family? Become her sworn sister? It's too tacky. The best way for you to be part of her family is to be her aunt. Gu Yi stared blankly at Gu Shi. Feng Ruqing has no uncle. How can I be her aunt? She doesn't, but Nan Xian has. I think Mu Qingyin is quite good. He is handsome and has a good personality. He is also Nan Xian's uncle. If you marry him, wouldn't you be part of Maiden Feng's family? Gu Yi would be furious after hearing Gu Shi's words if it was in the past. But she kept quiet and was in deep thought this time. If she married Mu Qingyin, she would be Nan Xian's aunt. She might be able to make Nan Xian leave for a while as his aunt. Then she might be able to have Xiao Qing all to herself. Just thinking about it made her so happy. Gu Yi smiled excitedly. This idea is good. When I become Nan Xian's aunt, he must listen to me. He will have to follow my orders. I will make him leave for a bit. Xiao Qing will be mine after he leaves. Gu Shi exhaled slowly. He smilingly looked at Gu Yi, who was running out excitedly. He smiled like a sly old fox. You can't fight me. You are still too young and tender. Although he had always loved Yi, he could not just watch his baby girl continue liking women. It would be fine if Feng Ruqing liked her back. However, Feng Ruqing already had a man whom she loved. Since her love was only one-sided, then it would be just fine if he interfered in her love affair. It seemed that he might succeed in getting Yi to marry a man this time. Gu Yi naturally did not know that she was acting according to Gu Shi's plan. Me for extra chapters. Just when she wanted to run to tell Feng Ruqing about her decision, a man who was equally in deep thought was coming toward her. Neither of them had seen each other. They bumped into each other. Gu Yi was startled and fell over after being hit. A slender hand reached over and grabbed her arm when she was about to fall to the ground. Gu Yi's head bumped into the man's chest. She felt the pain and had an urge to swear at the man loudly. However, all the curse words disappeared the moment Gu Yi saw the man. The man had a clean and elegant face. His face was cold. He gazed at the little girl in front of him. He frowned a little. Are you okay? Are you hurt? His voice was very pleasant. It sounded like the spring water in the mountain that could purify anyone's heart. Mister. Gu Yi smiled. I want to marry you. Mu Qingyin remained silent. Is this girl okay? Young Lady Gu, we have only met each other a few times. Why do you want to marry me? Because I want to be Nan Xian and Qingqing's aunt. Chapter 10:11, Gu Shi's Trick 6. Gu Yi smiled. With this, she would have the opportunity to occupy Xiao Qing and drive the vixen, Nan Xian, away. Young Lady Gu, we rarely have any interactions with each other, let alone any feelings for each other, so, it doesn't matter. I just want to be Nan Xian's aunt. Mu Qingyin was speechless. Mu Qingyin had always felt that he could not talk normally to this girl. Therefore, he just stopped talking and walked forward. Mister, wait. Gui was anxious. She hurried to him. You may have misunderstood me. I am an elegant woman. I am very obedient and have never caused any trouble. I have never fought with anyone. I won't disgrace you. She stopped abruptly. It was because Gui saw that Luoli was surrounded by a group of people in front of her not far away. Her face was red and her eyes were filled with anger. She saw Qin Fei crying aggrievedly while many people were accusing Luoli. Gui did not know what had happened, but she also understood that Qin Fei must have bullied Luoli. Without a second thought, she kicked the butt of the person standing in front of her and sent him flying. Mu Qingyin, who was standing behind Gui, was speechless. Where was the elegant woman that she had claimed to be just now? Did she not say that she never fights? After seeing Gui protecting Luoli behind her and staring at the group of teenagers fiercely, he could not help but smile. Who has allowed you to bully Luoli? Gui asked and glowered coldly at the people present. Everyone became quiet. They seemed to be afraid of Gui. No, it's not our fault. It's Luoli's fault. Finally, someone spoke. She hit Fei just now. Fei's health is poor, yet she still hit her. We just wanted to teach her a lesson. Luoli sneered. I heard she and her maid were talking badly about Xiao Qing behind her back. I couldn't bear it and had scolded them back. It was also the people of the Qin family who had started the fight first. I just hit back to protect myself. The teenager was stunned speechless. He then said firmly. Fei is not someone who would talk badly of others behind their back. It is even more impossible for her to hit other people. Luoli, don't insult Fei, me for extra chapters. Luoli grinned ironically. It doesn't matter if she doesn't admit it. I don't care about reputations now. So, what if I bully her? I just want to bully her. I will hit her every time I see her. Just don't let me see her again. She has scolded Xiao Qing and hit you. Gui was so angry that she threw a kick again. Her kick was directed at Qin Fei. Qin Fei was flung away before she coughed up blood. Gui. Those teenagers were furious and looked angrily at Gui after seeing Qin Fei's miserable appearance. Gui squeaked, I don't need any reason to hit people. I will just beat them when I want to. You can go to the chief manor and complain to my father if you are not happy about it. Everyone became silent. Going to the chief manor and complain to the manor master? They would not be able to come out safely after going to the chief manor. The manor master could be very unreasonable when it came to his precious daughter. Get out now. The group of people immediately dispersed like birds and dared not stay after hearing her yell. Qin Fei also left with the help of the people of the Qin family. She looked back and glanced at Gui before she left. Chapter 10-12. Gu Shi's trick. Vai Gui could not help but shiver after she saw Qin Fei's darkened eyes. Luoli. Gui turned around. She then saw a flustered Luoli behind her. There were bruises on her arms. How are you? Luoli shook her head. I'm fine. By the way, don't let Xiao Qing know about this. She is too busy with the Mu family's matters. I don't want her to worry about it. What's going on with Qin Fei recently? Gui recalled Qin Fei's darkened eyes. She paused. She seems to have changed. Gui did not like Qin Fei before. It was because Qin Fei was acting like she was the most righteous person and was always nitpicking on others' behaviors and attitudes. That was it. But now, Qin Fei was making her feel uncomfortable as if a venomous snake was staring at her. Maybe it was Qin Chen and Xiao Qing running away that has irritated her. Luoli shrugged. However, a person like Qin Chen is not suitable to stay in the Qin family. The Qin family is a big divat, a place full of deception and frame. I only understand now that no one from the Qin family is a good person. She used to think that the Qin family would treat this adopted child very well. She just realized how ridiculous her thoughts were after discovering the true colors of these people. I'll go home first. Let's gather again when I have time. Luo Li smiled. She greeted Gu Yi before turning around and leaving. Gu Yi had initially wanted to ask about the Luo family's current situation today. Suddenly, something came to her mind and her body stiffened. She turned her head mechanically and looked at the elegant man standing behind her. Mister, would you believe me if I said that I didn't do anything just now? I did not kick and scold them. I'm a lady. I'm also not the kind who would bully people. Mu Qingyin slightly smiled. I saw it all. Gu Yi was about to cry. What should she do now? What should she do if he did not want to marry her after seeing her violent side? How could she be Xiao Qing's family? Too bad, I saw it all. Gu Yi was silent. After a long while, she carefully asked, can you just be blind and pretend that nothing has happened? Mu Qingyin was speechless. Be blind? But I'm not blind. Gu Yi took a deep breath. Mister, do you know that you are quite insensitive? Mu Qingyin raised his hand and caressed Yi's head. There is no need to be too tolerant with the bad people. So, you did nothing wrong. His palms were huge and strong. Me for extra chapters. The temperature of his palm startled Gu Yi. She looked up and stared blankly at the man in front of her. That. Then can you not tell Xiao Qing what has happened today? Xiao Yin said that Xiao Qing likes elegant ladies. It's not easy for me to pretend for so long. What if Xiao Qing stopped liking me if she knew that I was not an elegant lady? All right. Mu Qingyin smiled. This girl was not as troublesome as he imagined. The man's hand was still above Gu Yi's head, showing no sign of taking it away. Gu Yi's face was red. This was the first time she was so close to a man. She was too fat in the past and nobody liked her. Later, she had fallen in love with Xiao Qing and was extremely disgusted with men. Several young men had come to the Gu family to propose a hand in marriage in the past. However, they were all driven away by her. But now, she was not disgusted by Mu Qingyi's hand. Chapter 10:13, Gu Shi's trick via it might also be because Mu Qingyin was Xiao Qing's family. She loved Feng Ruqing, so she could accept his touch. Are you going to find Qinger? Mu Qingyin slightly smiled. I'm also going back. Let's go to the Mu family together. Gu Yi blinked. Did Mu Qingyin not ignore her just now? Why did he want to go with her now? Could it be that he was moved by her infatuation toward Xiao Qing? Was he going to help her? So, did it mean that she had a chance to become Xiao Qing's family? Gu Yi thought about it and felt that there was no other possibility beyond that. She accepted Mu Qingyi's suggestion. Okay then, let's go. Luo Fei hurriedly walked out of the Luo family. He then met an approaching Luo Li as soon as he stepped down the stairs. His eyes were full of joy. Liar, are you back? Luo Li frowned and pursed her lips. She did not want to face Luo Fei since the incident that day. Maybe she still could not forget the incident and forgive him yet. Liar, someone came to inform me just now that you were beaten up by Qin Feier. Luo Fei saw the injuries on Luo Li's arm at a glance. He panicked and grabbed Luo Li's arm immediately. He carefully avoided the wounds. Luo Li's face stiffened. She wanted to pull back her arm that Luo Fei was holding. It's all bruises. I'll ask someone to bring some spirit herbs over. It will be better if you apply it. Luo Li sneered at the undisguised distress in Luo Fei's eyes. Why did he not act like this when she was scalded by hot water the other day? He had even defended Qin Xiaoya at that time. Soon, someone brought the spirit herbs. Luo Li tried to remove Luo Fei's hand from hers a few times but failed. She could only let him apply the spirit herbs to her arm. Me for extra chapters. It was cool and all the pain disappeared. Liar, let's go. Luo Fei did not let go of Luo Li's hand. He then pulled her along with him and walked outside. Luo Li was cold. Where are you taking me? To the Qin family to find Qin Fei. They have hurt you. I want an explanation from them. Luo Fei's face was firm and unquestionable. Luo Li's heart trembled a little at this moment. She slowly closed her eyes and recalled her memory from before. Before her father had met Qin Xiaoya. He had always treated her like this. If anyone bullied her, he would avenge her as soon as she went back and cried to him. Chapter 10:14, Gu Shi's Trick 9. Everything had changed since Qin Xiaoya appeared. Do you think I will forgive you if you act like this? Luo Li's tears flowed uncontrollably. I can accept that you marrying another woman. After all, mother has died a long time ago. It's not fair for you to be alone. I have never expected you to love only mother forever. However, I don't allow anyone to insult mother. She has purposely spoiled mother's grave and even stamped on it. Why won't you believe me? You only trust her. You only listen to her. Luo Fei stopped in his tracks. He looked back at the little girl who was crying. He felt guilty and wanted to wipe her tears. Liar, I was wrong. I was too stupid to believe in her words. I feel guilty about you and your mother. I promise you that there will be no other women in the Luo family, okay? He had forgotten. He had forgotten that her daughter never lied. He had believed in Qin Xiaoya but not in his daughter. He had always thought that Luo Li was making a fuss because she did not want anyone to snatch him away. He had also forgotten that Liar had always been a good child and was never the kind of person who would unreasonably cause trouble. So, it was all his fault. He would spend his whole life to make up to her. Luo Li pursed her lips without saying a word. Her tears fell like rain dripping to the ground and it made his heart ache. He was so stupid to have trusted Qin Xiaoya and had almost brought calamity to the Luo family. He suddenly realized how much he had done wrong over the years after discovering Qin Xiaoya's true colors. I won't allow anyone to be disrespectful to mother. Mother has already passed away, but she still treated mother's grave like this. She does not respect the deceased. I will never call such a woman mother even if you ask me to. A mother was the most important person in all daughters' hearts. No woman could replace her. She could accept the fact that Luo Fei married another woman. However, she could not accept the fact that the woman did not respect her deceased mother and insulted her. Was she even a good daughter if she had accepted it? Liar, I'm truly sorry. I know I was wrong. Can you give me another chance? Luo Fei begged in a soft voice. Me for extra chapters. Luo Li lowered her head. Her heart was softened. Not because Luo Fei wanted to settle accounts with Qin Fei for her. But, Luo Fei had applied medicine for her before taking her out. If Luo Fei had taken her to Qin Fei first and ignored her pain, she might still think that Luo Fei was not paying much attention to her. But this little detail melted her heart. I will look at your performance then. Luo Li bit his lower lip and snorted softly. You must also apologize to mother in front of her grave. Besides, if you want to marry another woman in the future, she must be a person who respects the elders and also the young ones. She must not bully me, or else I will fight back. Okay. Luo Fei raised his hand and hugged Luo Li. I promise you that there would be no other woman in the Luo family. So, there will be no other woman. I have learned my lesson this time. The Luo family has just managed to restore its peacefulness. I will not let another Qin Xiaoya ruin it again. Chapter 10:15. Becoming a big joke. Luo Li lowered her head. She did not answer Luo Fei's words. She did not know how she should face Luo Fei now. Liar, let's go to the Qin family first. I won't let anyone bully you in the future. Luo Fei held Luo Li's hand tightly. His pace was brisk and his palm was strong, giving her a warm and reassuring feeling. This was the feeling she had never experienced in a long time. Luo Li pursed her lips. She allowed Luo Fei to pull her forward. A tear fell from the corner of her eye and dissipated with the wind under the breeze. Father. Inside the room, a strong voice came from behind Mu Ling when he was about to turn around and leave. Mu Huan clenched her fists tightly. She could hardly breathe. Father, where are you going? Mother hasn't woken up yet. Are you going to find that bitch? Slap. Mu Ling raised his hand and slapped Mu Huan's face. He did not feel guilty this time and he was disappointed. How could his obedient and lovely daughter become so selfish? Mu Huan covered her red cheek. She stared at Mu Ling fiercely with her stubborn and resentful eyes. Her beautiful eyes that were full of hatred were like needles piercing through Mu Ling's heart. Huaner, when have you become like this? Or, have I never known you? Mu Huan smiled sarcastically. She put down her hand that was covering her cheek. She said coldly, Father, it was because we have never known that you are such a person. Mother was infatuated with you, but you just don't care about her. Now, Mother is still in a coma, you can't even wait until she wakes up. Infatuated? Mu Ling laughed. Qing Yan did dote on him. But her behavior had ruined the Mu family. She had even treated him like a fool to avoid being blamed for her mistakes. When did it start? When was Qing Yan no longer sincere to him? Did you know that Qingyan's behavior has caused the Mu family to be in such a desperate situation? Mu Ling said loudly as he was very angry. Mu Huan sneered. You can forgive Sui no matter what she has done wrong, and you have even begged her to come back again and again. Mother just made a little mistake, but you cannot accept that. Do you only like Mother when she is caring and can't accept it when she makes mistakes? Me for extra chapters. Mu Ling's body stiffened. You can forgive Sui no matter what she has done wrong. The girl's voice kept echoing in his ear. He closed his eyes slowly. It seemed that he did tolerate Sui a lot. Although it was Sui's fault that he could not have children anymore, he could still forgive her. He could even beg her in a soft voice. However, Sui had never harmed the Mu family. Chapter 10:16. Males are more important than females. Mu Huan's voice was cut off abruptly. She looked at Mu Ling furiously, feeling cold and unable to say a word. Before Sui returned, her parents were as loving as when they first met. Everything had changed since Sui returned. So, why did she come back? Mu Huan clenched her fists tightly, and even after Mu Ling had left, she did not react at all. Her eyes were filled with hatred. She hated Sui for using force to gain favor and for stealing the man her mother loved the most. I hate Sui, I'll make sure she never live in peace. Cough. Cough. There was a weak coughing sound coming from the bed. This voice instantly pulled Mu Huan away from her thoughts. She turned and hurried to the bed. With a face full of joy she asked, Mother, are you awake? Ling. Brother Ling. Qing Yan opened her eyes partially. Her voice was as weak as a soft breeze. Her eyes darted around, but she did not see the person she was expecting. She lowered her eyes slightly and a bitter smile hung on her pale face. Huaner, your father. Didn't he come to see me? Mu Huan trembled. She could not bear to tell her mother that her father had left before she had even woken up. Mother. Dad left earlier due to some matters. He will come back to see you soon. Huaner, you don't need to comfort me, I know it very well. Chen Qingyan closed her eyes, her heart was in pain. What she had worried about for so many years had finally happened. He will not return again. Mu Ling was affectionate. And equally ruthless. All these years, Mu Ling had always been spoiling her, making her feel like she was in heaven. Similarly, he could also make her fall into hell at any given moment. To this man, nothing compared to the Mu family. He took the family more seriously than anything else. Mother, you don't have to think too much about it. Get well soon. He won't ignore you. If he didn't care about you, he wouldn't have taken out the elixir from his private collection to save you. Mu Huan's comforting lit up Chen Qingyan's eyes for a moment before quickly darkening and filled with pain. Huaner, your maternal grandmother died in the hands of the old master. Mu Huan's heart skipped a beat as she looked at Chen Qingyan in shock. Me for extra chapters. The events of that year were taboo in everyone's heart, so no one had talked about the past. As such, this was the first time Mu Huan had heard Chen Qingyan's talk about her maternal grandmother. Logically speaking, I should hate the old master and the Mu family, but I have fallen in love with your father anyway. For him, I am willing to let go of all the hatred, but why does your father still not care about me in the end? He's all that I have, he's my life. How would I live this life without him? Chen Qingyan voiced out hoarsely, tears of grief flowing from her eyes and all over her pale face. Her body was shaking as if there was an abyss of sorrow within, and it seemed to take great effort to keep it all from exploding entirely. Huaner, only you can help me, now only you can help me. Chen Qingyan held Mu Huan's hand tightly and said distraughtly. Besides you, there is no one else who can help me. Mu Huan bit her lower lip hard, her body was trembling with anger. Mother, what should I do? How can I help you? Chen Qingyan lowered her eyes, a light flashed in her eyes. I want you to seduce someone. Mother. Mu Huan's eyes widened in disbelief. The hand that Chen Qingyan was holding stiffened. What did you just say? Chapter 10:17, Males are more important than females. Chen Qingyan wept silently. Huaner, in this world, only he can help me. Go and seduce him. If you get his help, the Mu family and even the entire Tianshan manor will be ours. Mu Huan's face turned pale as her head throbbed. She never knew that her mother had such ambitions, the entire Tianshan manor. What she wanted was actually the entire Tianshan manor. Huaner, your father doesn't care about us anymore. If I continued living in the Mu family, that vicious woman, Sui, will torture me to death. Chen Qingyan's eyes were filled with pain and deep grief. Also, she is a jealous person by nature. It is impossible that she would let you and Sierra go. Your younger brother's position has been taken away by Nan Xian and now only you can help us. Mu Huan closed her eyes slowly and opened them after a while. Mother, you want me to do this kind of thing? Is it to make life easier for our family of 3 or is it for Mu Shi? If Nan Xian had not returned and the old master had not recovered, Mu Shi would have been the heir of the next generation of the Mu family. However, Nan Xian had returned and the old master's body was also healthy. Mu Shi would never have a chance again. Therefore, she wanted to know whether it was to survive or to give Mu Shi power. Stupid child, mother is not that kind of biased person. How could I sacrifice you just to let Sierra gain the power to control Tianshan Manor? Mother really have no other choices. Huaner, mother can only rely on you. Chen Qingjian's eyes were filled with pity and reluctance. She gently stroked Mu Huan's hair, her voice soft. Mu Huan looked at Chen Qingjian's gentle face, her eyes were filled with tears. In this life, she thought very highly of herself. Innocence, to her, was better than all. However, she understood that with their standings in the Mu family, they were destined to be bullied. They had lost their father's protection, maybe one day they would really lose their lives in Sui's hands. Very well. Mu Huan's face bloomed into a bright smile. Mother, I will listen to you, Huaner, mother's good daughter. Chen Qingjian's hand caressed Mu Huan's face and sighed. If it weren't for Sui's return, it wouldn't have turned out like this. You wouldn't have needed to commit to others. Mu Huan trembled and dropped her head. Her eyes were filled with hatred. Yes, everything was Sui's fault. If it wasn't because of Sui, she wouldn't have needed to seduce anyone at all. It was Sui who had forced her to this extent. She would never let go of this damned bitch. Me for extra chapters. Whether it's Sui, Nan Xian or Feng Ruqing, this group of people all deserve to die. What has happened to me today is all because of these people. They are the culprits. When Mu Huan said these words, she did not see Chen Qingjian's small smirk. However, she collected her expression and put on the same distressed look again. Huaner, it's difficult on you, she touched Mu Huan's face, her voice was weak and gentle. You have done enough of taking care of me today. It is good to go back and get some rest first. Mu Shi will take care of me later. Mu Huan sneered. What other things could her brother do besides having fun with women all day? Even when his mother was hurt so badly by others, he had only stood aside silently. Count on him. Made us count on the servant girl of the Mu family. Mother, then I'll leave first. I cannot be rest assured with Mu Shi, I'll ask the servant girl to come. Chapter 10:18 Males are more important than females. Mu Huan pursed her lips. After looking at Chen Qingyan, she turned and left. The moment Mu Huan turned around, the gentle smile on Chen Qingjian's face disappeared and her eyes were filled with guilt. Sorry, Huaner. Mother knows that you are filial, but you are still a girl after all. Sooner or later, you will need to marry someone. This family still has to rely on Sierra. If the old master were not clear-headed, it would not have mattered. Now that the old master is clear-headed, he would never give the Mu family to Sierra. I can only use other methods. On top of that, if the spectral flower is ruined, he will blame it on me. Then, I can only use you as a scapegoat. Don't blame Mother, Mother did this for our family's consideration. Only after Sierra has control of Tianshan Manor, only then can leave him again. Squeak. The door was pushed open and the sun shone on Mu Zai's figure. His handsome face was full of femininity. He slowly walked through the door. Mother, has she promised? Yes. Chen Qingyan smiled lightly. Previously I couldn't open my mouth. With what happened today, she has also felt the danger. I have to thank Feng Ruqing, otherwise, Huaner would never have agreed. Mu Shi breathed a sigh of relief. That's good. If Mu Huan doesn't agree to be his woman, he might use me as a guinea pig for medicine. I don't want to be his guinea pig. After all, Mu Huan won't be losing out. Sierra. Chen Qingyan frowned and said nothing about Mu Zai's words. You must not say that in the future. Huaner has agreed to this matter for our sakes. I am ashamed about what I have done to her. But she had no other choice. She had to choose either one, Mu Shi or Mu Huan. Otherwise, she could not afford to compensate for the spectral flower that cost so much. Sierra looks good. He not only likes beautiful women but also shows great concern for them. We can only rely on Juaner to be safe. With his support, Tianshan Manor will be Sierra's in the future. Furthermore, since Juaner will be following him, there will be no way to leave him. She will definitely be faithful to him only, therefore she wouldn't as bad as Sui. Even if Mu Ling had given up on Sui, Sui was not qualified to go outside and hook up with others. She must be faithful, even if Mu Ling did not want her anymore. She also had to keep her innocence. Mother, you don't have to worry about Juaner. We are giving her a chance. If she has the ability to firmly grasp that person's heart, that person has always been gentle, generous, and indulgent to women. Would there be anything that Juaner would be dissatisfied with, me for extra chapters? Chen Qingyan sighed and shook her head with a bitter smile. By the way, Sierra, you must not let that person see Feng Ruqing. Once he sees Feng Ruqing, he will not accept Juaner. The man had always been lustful, but his lust was different from Mu's eyes. If Mu Shi could not get a girl, he would swear to never give up. However, that man, even if he would not give up, he would never force any woman. He was gentle. To a man, he was cruel like the devil, but to a woman, he had always had a little more concern and consideration. In the beginning, he had just happened to see Mu Huan and could never forget Mu Huan. Chen Qingyan knew, back then, that it was impossible for Mu Huan to commit to one person for power, so she could not accept it on behalf of Mu Huan. Even so, that person did not force her, he would only make her his woman if she was willing. One thing that made him different from other men was that he brought the phrase, disliking the old and taking delight in the new, to an extreme level. Chapter 10:19 Males are more important than females. Even if other men had concubines, they could never forget the old ones. Yet, he was different. Once he got a new woman, he would never touch the old one again. Therefore, Chen Qingyan would never allow that person to see Feng Ruqing, and she would not let anyone snatch the backing she had sought for her daughter. Mother, don't worry about this, the man is a clean freak and won't fancy unclean women. In Mu Zai's mind, Feng Ruqing's face emerged and he licked the corner of his lower lip. To me, it's different. No matter how dirty Feng Ruqing is, I am still willing to spoil her until I get tired of her. Chen Qingyan's expression changed as she shouted angrily, "You are in the Mu family. Don't reveal your intentions toward her now. Nan Xian is protecting her closely. If he hears this, he will not let you go. I am still not that stupid. Let Nan Xian be proud for a while now and let's wait for Juaner to win that person's heart. As long as Juaner says the word, that man will inevitably go to Gushi and give us this Tianshan manor. By then, with his backing, would I be afraid of Nan Xian alone?" Mu Shi sneered, his brows were filled with wickedness. Nan Xian would be trampled under his feet. Feng Ruqing would also surely be under him. All he needed now was patience. Only after hearing Mu Zai's remarks, was Chen Qingyan relieved. "It's good as long as you understand. I'm a little tired, I will rest first." Chen Qingyan paused, lowering her eyes sadly. "If your father can change his mind before then, he will still be your father, you must not be rude to him." She had always been true to Mu Ling. During her most difficult years, it was his appearance that had warmed her heart. If Mu Ling repented, she would give him a chance and then they would share all the riches in the world. If he insisted on continuing on this path, no matter how painful it was, she will never spare the Mu family anymore. "Mother, do you think he will change his mind? He doesn't love you anymore, he just wants to pursue Sui now." Mu Shi sneered as he said that before leaving Chen Qingyan alone, lying on the bed stiffly. Tears blurred her sight and flowed from her eyes. Salty and bitter. Over the same thing, Mu Huan had always comforted her, just to make her feel at ease. Something that Mu Shi had said stabbed her in the heart. I don't know if my choice is right or wrong. No matter how much she loved Mu Huan was a girl after all and would not be by her side in the future. Mu Shi was different. She believed that no matter who, given the same choices as she had, the choice would definitely be the son. Me for extra chapters. Her son was the only one she could depend on. Chen Qingyan wiped away the tears on her face and a smile appeared on her pale face. I'm right, I wouldn't be wrong if I let Huaner commit to him. I'm just forced into desperation and there's nothing I can do about it. The person who has done wrong is the mother and son duo or Feng Ruqing. Yes, it was all that group of people's fault. If Huaner wanted to hate, then those were the people she should hate. Chen Qingjian's mood got much better, but the pain in her abdomen was still apparent and it constantly reminded her of what those people had done to her, in the medium. The sky was blue and the grass was green. With a loud rumbling, a powerful force came from somewhere near. The girl sitting on the grass with her eyes closed and her knees crossed finally opened her eyes. Intermediate Dark Warrior Tier. It had been some time since she had arrived at Tianshan Manor and now she had finally broken through to Intermediate Dark Warrior Tier. Chapter 1020, The Secret Realm Behind the Chief Manor. Mother. Little Qing Han leaped into Feng Ruqing's arms. With a bright smile on her little face, she giggled. You have finally made a breakthrough. How nice. Mother is becoming more powerful, it may not be long before she would be as strong as the 9th Emperor. Feng Ruqing stretched out her arms and embraced the soft bundle in her arms. She stood up from the grasslands and her eyes fell upon the little boy who was deep in sleep on the grass. How long more until Fu Chen wakes up? The little boy sleeping among the grass had a white and smooth face, more refined than an immortal child. He slept very soundly, no matter how loud the outside world was, it was not possible to wake him. Little Qing Han raised her head, staring blankly ahead and said, I don't know either, Brother Fu Qin will wake up when he is supposed to wake up I guess. Ever since Fu Qin consumed a huge amount of elixirs, he was constantly sleeping. On the contrary, it was not known why little Qing Han had suddenly woken up. Qing Han, let's go. After Feng Ruqing said that, she looked at Fu Qin who was still asleep and left the medium. The sky outside was just starting to brighten, everything had not yet awakened, boom. A loud sound came from the chief manor, shaking the whole Tianshan manor. Feng Ruqing's face changed, she had no time to notify anyone. She flew across the sky quickly, heading toward the chief manor, Behind the top of the mountain. The dungeon holding Xiaoye was flattened. Gu Shi's handsome face was panic-stricken. His face was pale and fear filled his heart. He was blocked by an invisible door in front of him. He tried to rush forward a few times but was blocked. It was as if a hand was pushing him back, forbidding him to take a half step closer. Are all of you sure that Yi has suddenly disappeared? In front of Gu Shi, the guards and servant girls were kneeling by the sides. There was a middle-aged woman kneeling next to them, her face trembling with terror. Manor Master. I came to the back hill with the eldest young lady. I don't know what happened. The prison suddenly exploded and the young lady had suddenly disappeared. The servant cried. I really don't understand what has happened. It's Lady Fenghua, she has led the young lady here, me for extra chapters. Gu Shi looked at Jing Fenghua with red eyes, his eyes filled with raging anger. Who has allowed you to come back to the chief manor? What did you do to Yi? Jing Fenghua was so scared that she could not even speak.